So I'm going to go over how to create an equation with a certain solution. So variables on both sides. This one I like to say is the hardest of the rest of them. So it's very important that you're paying attention. So first, the most important thing when you're doing all of these type of equations is to pick what your number is. So you have to have one for 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 30 or 31 based off of the month you have. So you want to start off with, okay, I'm on day 2, I'm going to pick x is 2. And like I said here, 2 being the second day of the month. So then you're going to pick 2 numbers. I said your favorite numbers, you could pick any numbers. I chose 3 and 7. So now that means my equation will look like 3x plus 7. And what I like to say is for these types of equations for variables on both sides, it'll look something like ax plus b equals cx plus d, where a, b, and c and d are all integers. So that's where I got the 3 and 7 in this proper way, because this a becomes a 3 and this b becomes a 7. And then I plug 2 in because that is my x. So when I plug 2 in for this, I get 6 plus 7, which is 13. So now I know that this side over here is 13. So I need to make this side over here equals 13 so they equal each other. Like I said, it's like a balance. You have to have one side equal the other side. So now I have to pick a number to multiply by 2 that when it's multiplied by 2, it'll be less than 13. Because if I pick a number to multiply my 2 for the x, that's when multiplied is greater than 13, we already have an issue here, right? This side's automatically going to be greater than 13. So I decided to use 5, because when 5 times 2, I get 10. You could have used 4. You could have used 2. You couldn't use 3 because that's the same thing, and we don't want that. But so I used 5. So when I used 5, I did 5 times my 2 of my x. I got 10. And then I saw what is left over. What else do I need to get to 13? Oh, I need to add 3. So that showed me I had my 5 times my x plus my 3. And I put the 5 in for c, the 3 in for d. And that's how I got my equation. And then when I solve it, you can see that my x is 2. So that one's the more challenging one. So if you need some more help, you can always ask. The one distribution one, I'm using x is 2 again, so I'm using the second day. I'm going to choose 3 numbers now because we have a distribution. So we have to have one on the outside, one for my a, one for my b if we're still using that format that I showed you above. So I chose 4, 3, 2. You could choose any numbers you want. So I put the 4 on the outside, the 3 as my a, the 2 as my b. And then I just plugged in my 2 for x. And I got 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 2 is 8, times 4, which gives me the 32. And then because that equals 32, then my equation must equal 32, and I'm done. So that's why it's a little bit easier than the one above, because once you plug in your value, you're done. You just set it equal to the number you get. And then if you solve it, you'll get 2, because you get 12x plus 8 equals 32. Subtract over the 8, we get 12x equals 24. So my x is 2, and I am right. And that's how I would show my work. I would write on a separate sheet of paper. I'd write 2, and then I would write the equation like I did here, and then I'd go to here, and then I'd go to here, and I say, yes, I am right. So make sure it's neat. The two-step equation, so I'm going to use a 2 again. I choose random numbers. I chose 7 and 4. So I did 7x plus 4, and I plugged 2 in. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 4 is 18. So that must equal 18. My two-step equation is always in the form of ax plus b. So that's why I chose an a as 7, a b as 4. And then when I plug 2 in, I get 18. So I just set it equal to 18 and move along. When I solve that, I get x is 2. We want to make sure that we're not using negative numbers in front of our x unless our number out here is going to make sure when we solve it, we get 2, a positive number. All our x values are going to end up being positive. So make sure if this is negative, when you move this over, this side would become negative. So a negative divided by a negative gives us the positive. We don't want negative answers. For the translating and solving part, we are choosing this time x is 25. I chose 25 just to show you a bigger number. So I created a statement like 30 less than 2 times a number. I just picked that out of random. I picked 30, I picked 2 times a number, and I got that as 2x minus 30. Now, once again, I'm going to plug my 25 in, and I get 2 times 25, which is 50, minus 30 equals 20. So I got that. So we know that that statement, 30 less than 2 times a number, when I want the answer to be 25, gives me an answer of 20. So I'm going to say that statement is equal to 20. So we write 30 less than 2 times a number is 20. Put that into equation and solve for that number to make sure it is 25 like you wanted it to be. So that'd be 25 as our x value. A fraction, I chose 2 again. So you could choose your favorite fraction. I want you to have one with 1 in the numerator. If you use 2/3 or something, that's going to get challenging. I suggest 1 over some number. I chose 1/3. And then choose numbers that easily are divisible by 3. So if you choose 1/4, you want to do numbers that are divisible by 4. 1/5 divisible by 5. So this is an easier type of problem. So I did 1/3 and I chose 9 and 12 because those are divisible by 3. Then I plug a 2 in. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 12 is 30, divided by 3 is 10. So I know that my equation has to equal 10 to have my x be 2. And then I solve it, and I got x is 2. So this might be a little bit confusing, but if you have questions, you can ask in class, ask through email, at extra help. You can't use any of these equations. Sorry, you have to make up your own. But if you have any questions, you can ask me and I will help you with them. We can walk through them together.